Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit. All praises to the heavenly, holy, almighty creator of infinity, eternity, the universe, and all there is. This is Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit. Hello, family. We are back together again, convening and converging in our zone of love, safety, harmony, peace, joy, for the education and edification of the holy hidden nation. All praises. And family, we are back together for our regular spiritual examination of our carnal existence. And so again, we will be reviewing the tenets of an article and letting them marinate with the confusion of this continental captivity for those who are the chosen. All praises. And so this is in light of the recent signing of the Asian American and Pacific Islander coronavirus bill by the president. And so it gives special protections for this demographic of people who've experienced violence or torment or calamities or tribulations since so-called this pandemic, this vid has invaded the scene of the world and caused such shutdowns. And originally it was stated that it began in China. And even though China was a main focus of this outbreak, all other surrounding Asian ethnicities and communities were affected by this violence and torment. And so we will be reviewing an article as it pertains to the behavior of one of these so-called affected Asian American Pacific Islander communities and see how it plays against us who are the hidden ones, the ones without the name, without the history, who've lost the heritage, but in essence are the children of Israel. And we began. What is this? Man accused of shooting boy 6. He is back in jail after a bail increase. So family, let's see what is going on with this man. Ryan Le-Nguyen. After Le-Nguyen's release made the news, people in the Southfield, Michigan community voiced their demand for Washtenaw County officials to keep him detained, citing the need for public safety. Ryan Le-Nguyen, the man accused of shooting 6-year-old Kobe Daniel in Michigan, is back in custody. As previously reported, the 29-year-old Ypsilanti Township resident was recently arrested for assault with the intent to murder after he allegedly shot the 6-year-old black child. Just days later, on Tuesday, he was released on bond. All right, family. So we have Ryan Le-Nguyen of Ypsilanti Township, 29 years old, Asian American, who was arrested for assault with intent to murder, to kill, to extinguish the life force, to exterminate a 6-year-old black child, family. And even after he was arrested, he was released on a super low $10,000 bond. So family, we know within the mechanisms of malevolence of America, if one of us went out and caused harm with the intent to murder another ethnic group, our bonds would not be $10,000, something that would allow us to filter back frivolously into the community. Now, Le-Nguyen is back in jail following the communal outrage triggered by his initial release. After Le-Nguyen made his $10,000 bond earlier this week and was released from jail, the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office filed an emergency motion to cancel the initial bond. It's now set at $100,000, USA Today reports. Okay, so due to public outrage of the crime, intent to murder of a little black 6-year-old boy, his bond was increased from $10,000 to $100,000, and he is back in jail. We share in the community's pain and anger from a child being shot, and we know that for many, the pain and anger is compounded by the fact that the defendant was able to make his bond as set by the court, wrote Washtenaw County Prosecutor Eli Savitt in a Wednesday Facebook post. The shooting, which occurred on Sunday, June 6th, was captured on an Amazon Ring camera. Daniel's parents say the 6-year-old and other children were playing outside, and at one point, Kobe went to retrieve his bike from Nguyen's yard. In the footage, Kobe is seen with other children when suddenly a gunshot is heard and Kobe yells out in pain. An older child is heard shouting for someone to call the police. The 6-year-old sustained an injury from a gunshot wound on his arm, which was thankfully non-threatening. All right, family, let's take a look. We have video footage. So let's get the scope of what occurred here.
Got shot!
Wow, family. So some little kids, as they do normally, riding around the block, around the neighborhood, up and down the street on their bikes, having a good time, running around. And, you know, as I grew up, there's always one neighbor in the neighborhood who is very stringent or tight about their property or grass. And, you know, it's just a rite of passage growing up, learning different neighbors. But for this man to believe that these children were a threat and then to go get a weapon of mass destruction, a rifle, and to fire out of his home, striking a child. And I must become carnal, family, to interject. If this were my child, we wouldn't have to wait on the wrath of God and the flames of fury or any policing authority to resolve this issue. It would be over and done, and this would be an afterthought. And we continue. After Nguyen's release made the news, people in Southfield, Michigan community voiced their demand for Washtenaw County officials to keep him detained, citing the need for public safety. Some pointed directly to Magistrate Alicia Fink. The See No Evil judge, magistrate, is said to be Alicia V. Fink, who set the bond as low as $10,000 for attempted murderer Ryan Le-Nguyen, which he paid in full. And they doxed her, family. So here is a picture of Nguyen, Ryan Le-Nguyen. Let's get a good, healthy look at that, family, so we can remember this portrait, keep it seared into our mind as an Asian hate crime attack against a 6-year-old black child in Ypsilanti, Michigan, the backyard of Detroit, family. This judge who released Ryan Le-Nguyen on a $10,000 bond after attempting to murder 6-year-old Kobe in Ypsilanti. We call for justice for this baby. There is no way this man should be out of jail after being charged with assault with intent to murder. Gwen is also facing charges for assault with intent to do bodily harm and unlawful possession of firearms. All right. Okay. So that's the scope of the article, family. And so we go back in our assessment, our critical thinking and judgment. And the question comes back, is America racist? Which is a rhetorical question. All we have to do is review the history of this nation, starting at 1619, 1776, 1865, 1965. At whatever threshold of American history review, the question will always answer itself the same. Are Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in daily peril from the institutionalized forces of the American institutions of government, law, politics, health, food, policing, recreation and education, housing and banking? Who is causing the oppression of these people? It has been revealed, or it has been characterized, or a narrative attempted to be created that African Americans, blacks, or Negroes, whatever byword you apply to the scattered children of Israel here in America, that we are the culprits of this violence and this angst and this torment against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, so much to the detriment that they need a federally sponsored, presidentially signed bill. And yet we see members of that community, ethnicity, people who claim these Eastern Oriental nations are so much more the oppressor than those who have set up these institutions against the so-called blacks here in America, those brought here in bondage, those who never immigrated but were brought here for chattel servitude. And Asian Americans are able to shoot little 6-year-old black kids and terrorize and assault physically with no municipal retribution African American women in restaurants and supply stores across the nation. So the question is America racist? Are Asian American and Pacific Islanders in danger? If so, from who? It seems that the blacks, the Negroes, the African Americans, and coloreds are the ones who are under constant torment of their lives being in danger. So family, we shall continue with our review critically of our carnal existence through the spiritual eye and lens of the Holy Word, our true identity, and the identifying of the enemies of our oppression globally. Is America racist? Let's ask the Asian American man who committed a hate crime against a 6-year-old black child. And family, if it so be of your support, kindness, charity, if you are educated, enlightened, or entertained, please review the support links below. And until we are together again, I love you. I love you. I love you. This is Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit. Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit.